In this video, we will discuss 10 tips on how to maximize your productivity while working from home. And as a bonus, at the end of this video, we will also look at 5 ways on how to avoid burnout while working from home. Today, we are living in a world where more and more people are working or studying remotely from home. As we adapt to these times, it's important to maximize our productivity in a home environment, which is usually thought of as a safe haven from work, where we can rest and spend time with family and hang out with friends. Working at home can be a struggle at times because there are many more distractions and it requires greater self-discipline. So before we get into the tips, here is a word of advice. You first need to carefully analyze your current habits and behaviors in order to identify those areas in your life that need improvement. In other words, you first clearly identify the problems in your workflow. It might help if you jot them down or use a habit tracker or even your screen time report to see the trends in your behavior. You might just be surprised at how much time you spend on Facebook, YouTube, or playing video games. The first tip is to stick to your usual workday routine, whether that be a 9-to-5 job or the morning or night shift. We are creatures of habit, and by training ourselves to associate certain times of the day with being productive, we will naturally feel the urge to work at those times. The second tip is to wake up early and have devotion. Doing so will set the tone for the remainder of your day. Many of us immediately reach for our phones when we wake up, and we spend the first part of our day filling ourselves with social media and news, and oftentimes this leads to anxiety and emptiness. The first few minutes of your day set the mindset for the rest of the day. It's better to start off feeling energized and refreshed versus anxious and empty. The third tip is to get dressed for work. That means getting off your bed, taking a shower, and putting on a comfortable outfit for work. This act signals to your brain that you are entering work mode, and it also establishes a clear boundary for the start of your workday. The fourth tip is to make a to-do list and prioritize items, preferably the night before. Always start with the most urgent and important task on your list. Your energy levels decrease as the day progresses, so you will want to accomplish those high priority tasks at the start of your day while you have the most energy. Tip number 5 is to use the Pomodoro technique for effective time management. In this technique, you work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break, and then repeat the process. With time, you may even find yourself being able to work for longer intervals before needing to take a break. One of the benefits of using this technique is that it gives you a sense of urgency when completing tasks, and some people even get a thrill from working under pressure. Tip number 6 is to have a tidy, designated work or study area. This establishes a physical boundary dedicated to work and subconsciously tells your brain that it's time for work. If possible, don't make your bedroom your designated work area, as there are too many subliminal signals telling you to rest or go to bed. If you cannot avoid using your bedroom, then at least face away from your bed. Tip number 7 is to remove all distractions in the immediate vicinity of your designated work area. In practical terms, this means turning off your phone and keeping it out of arm's reach. Try to limit reading and watching news and social media posts, especially during the periods in the day when you are the most productive. You can always catch up later because those posts are not going anywhere. If you have to contact clients or students, try to save your calls for the afternoon when your energy levels are not as high. Tip number 8 is to over-communicate with your team and boss what tasks have been completed and give them frequent updates on the progress that you are making. This way, you have a better sense of accomplishment and your team knows that you are working hard remotely. Tip number 9 is to spend more time with people who are motivated, because their motivation and outlook on life will eventually rub off on you. If you tend to spend a lot of time with people who only want to watch TV shows, play video games, or socialize, then naturally, you will gravitate towards these things. That doesn't necessarily mean that these activities are bad, but that there is a time and place for them, and that is not during your work hours. Tip number 10 is to be accountable to someone else, whether that be a coworker, spouse, or friend. Being accountable means to be able to explain why you did something or why you did not do something, and to accept responsibility for your actions. The person you choose to be accountable to should be a responsible person who is willing to be honest and straight up with you, and they should ensure that you stay on the right path. Now we will look at tips on how to avoid burnout while working from home. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, either caused by a lack of control, unclear job expectations, a lack of social support, or a work-life imbalance. According to Mayo Clinic, some symptoms of burnout include finding it hard to concentrate at work, becoming easily irritable, or lacking the energy to be consistently productive. Tip number 1 is to ensure that you have a good work-life balance. That means setting clear boundaries between your work life and your personal life. Practically speaking, you need to pick a definitive start and end time to your workday and communicate those hours with your boss and team. It may be tempting to reply to an email just before bed or during your breaks, but soon that could become a habit, and even without realizing it, you may find yourself working at all hours of the day. The second tip is to take care of your physical health. That means regularly exercising at home or going outside for a walk or a jog. Numerous studies have shown that exercise has many benefits, including improving your sleep, boosting your immunity, and improving your overall mental health. Tip number 3 is to maintain a healthy diet that provides the body with essential nutrition. A healthy diet contains fruits, vegetables, whole grains, with little to no processed food and sweetened beverages. Tip number 4 is to reward yourself. Every time you do a good job or accomplish a significant task, reward yourself. There are a million different ways you can reward yourself. For example, buy yourself your favorite chocolate, or go to the movies, or go shopping. The key point is making sure that you reward yourself with something that makes you happy. And the 5th and last tip is to not be too hard on yourself. Some signs that you're being too hard on yourself include beating yourself up over minor mistakes that have minimal consequences, always criticizing yourself, not prioritizing your self-care over work, or interpreting someone's poor treatment of yourself as your fault. Being too hard on yourself can cause you to feel mental and physical stress. Remember, you only have one life to live, and it's pointless to stress yourself out for no good reason. So to recap, we looked at 10 tips on how to maximize your productivity while working from home. And these are: stick to a routine, wake up early and have devotion, get dressed for work, make a to-do list and prioritize tasks, use the Pomodoro technique for effective time management, have a designated work or study area, remove all distractions, over-communicate with your team what tasks have been completed, spend more time with highly motivated people, and lastly, be accountable to someone else. We also looked at 5 tips on how to minimize burnout while working from home, and these are: ensure a good work-life balance, take care of your physical health, maintain a healthy diet, reward yourself, and lastly, don't be too hard on yourself. like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to not miss any new uploads. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to shoot for the stars.